Hello and welcome to kind of a review video, and I'm really happy to sit here today because I've been waiting a long time for this brewer to come to market. Today we're going to talk about the SteepShot, which is a brewer that is brand new, and it's also a new brewing principle that is actually patented by Ari Halonen, the inventor. And this brewer has been 4 years in the making, which is a long time, but it's finally here now. And I'm going to show you how it works at the end of the video so you can see how it brews. But let's talk about the brewer itself. So it was in April 2016 where I was contacted by an ex-IT engineer called Ari Halonen. And he was actually quite a little bit of annoying because he wanted me to look at his new brewing device. And as you may understand, I do get a lot of strange emails like this from time to time. But I decided, okay, let's give him a chance. And he sent me a video of how he brewed coffee at home. And the video was actually of this prototype brewer. And it was just basically a steel cup with a little plumbing valve on. And yeah, it looked a little strange. But what really struck me was how fast he was brewing. And I thought, this can't taste good. He was brewing less than a minute, like around 30 seconds. And it was really easy to clean as well. So I asked Ari to come to my lab and bring the brewer so we could actually do a little bit of testing and measure extraction and stuff like that. And to my surprise, we were able to brew really nice tasty coffees in less than 30 seconds, which is fantastic. So I said to Ari, I really believe in this brewer. You should actually develop it for the commercial market and sell it. And 4 years later, this is how it looks like. Now, why did it take 4 years to go from this to that? Well, for many reasons. First of all, Ari wanted to patent the way it brews, and he now has lots of patents on it. And also, every time he wanted to change a small detail in the design or functionality, it took about 3 to 4 weeks to develop a new prototype. And then you need to test that to see if that works. And then you do some minor changes and so on. So we both thought he would launch this brewer at least a year ago. Thanks to a lot of our patient Kickstarter backers, we are now able to actually launch it finally. So I'm sorry for all the long wait, but it's finally here. And let me show you how it works. All right, so if you buy a SteepShot, it comes in this little box here, and inside you will find the actual brewer, and you'll also find a metal filter that comes with it. And this metal filter has 100 micron holes, and that's quite fine. So you will get quite filtered and clean coffees just by using this filter. But if you want to use a paper filter, you can easily use the AeroPress filter. It's the same size, so that you get even cleaner cups. And you can also get one of these optional filters from SteepShot that is 62 microns. So to get an even cleaner metal filtered coffee, you can use one of these. You also get a manual, but I'm a guy, I don't read manuals. But one of the things that's really important to know is that, first of all, you don't want to fill this full of water because you need airspace between the coffee and the lid, so that pressure can build up inside the brewer before you release the valve where coffee is going to come out. So that's the first thing you need to think about. The second thing is safety. We put safety second here. But if you fill this full of boiling water, which you should because you need hot water to create air pressure inside, you don't want to open this valve while this is pointing towards a person, your hands, or your ceiling, because you're going to have a volcano of coffee spraying everywhere. So make sure when you brew, first of all, you need to close the valve. And then when you want to release the coffee, hold it over a cup or a vessel, and then you can release the valve so the coffee will spray out safely away from hands and people or animals or anything else that can be damaged. Okay, so that was the two most important parts. Now let me show you how it works. So the brewer comes with a thermal cup. It's actually a double wall stainless steel cup. And inside there's some little marks. And they're just for your reference to see, if you don't have a scale at hand, you can kind of do a little bit of eye measurement based on your experience. I still recommend using a scale when you brew. So my preferred recipe is 14 grams of coffee, 200 grams of water. And that will fill the brewer about halfway. That means you have enough space to build up good air pressure. You can't fill it way too much. I think it's around 60% of the volume you can fill with coffee and water for this to work properly. So coffee in, water in, and then you have the lid, which comes with a deflector, which is this valve that should fit on here. And then you have a filter holder, or filter lock ring we call it, and a filter seat, which is where the filter goes in. So filter lock ring, you have the steel filter or paper filter, and then the filter seat that will hold the filter in place. And that's about it. So to brew, I would put the filter in, you put the filter lock ring in, lock it, and then there's a little kind of gap in this filter seat, and there's a little lip on the lid, and that's where it should fit. So just squeeze it in like that, then you put the coffee and water in, close it, and then the recipe you have to figure out yourself, but I don't like to wait that much, and Ari invented this because he's an impatient guy, so he doesn't like to wait long for his coffee. So, anywhere from 20 seconds to 1 minute is enough. And depending on how you grind, if you grind very coarse, of course you need to wait longer. If you grind quite fine, then you don't have to wait that long. So just make sure the deflector is closed while it's brewing and while you're waiting, and then when you're ready, you can open up and enjoy a really, really tasty cup of coffee. Now this is kind of a full immersion brew, so if you want to test extraction and stuff, it's more like an AeroPress or something. And the reason why is because the water and coffee is more or less together all the time, and not like filter where some of the water is released from the filter while you're brewing. I really hope that you will try this brewer and enjoy using it as much as I have over the years. Although I have been using a prototype, I'm really looking forward to using a much easier brewer to use, which is finally here. Now let's end this video by looking at how I like to brew. So let's do a brew together. I'm using a grind that I normally use for AeroPress, and my AeroPress is about 1 minute steep time, and this is going to be around 30 seconds actually. So let's put it inside. We have 14 grams of coffee, and then I'm going to get some boiling water, so I'm just going to reboil it. I have boiling water now, so let me tear the scale, but I'm going to put 200 grams of water inside, put the timer on, then put the lid on, and Ari likes to use the deflector to make sure it's screwed on. You can stir a little bit if you want, just leave it. Now 30 seconds has gone. Now is the important time to turn it upside down. Don't try to open the valve while it's pointing upwards. Keep your hands away from it. I like to kind of keep my thumb on the brewer and then open the valve. And if you're using a paper filter, the push out is going to take around 20 to 30 seconds. So sometimes you want to deduct some of that time from the total brewing time. And there you have it. In 1 minute, we're actually done with the coffee for me to enjoy. And it's quite hot now, so you might want to leave it a little bit before you start drinking it, because that's when the coffee starts to taste really, really good. Enjoy!